Yep. Good.
Cool. Thank you guys, appreciate it. Thank you, we're ready when you guys are.
All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order at 5:33. Just turned 5:34.
Okay.
We need, are you gonna do clerk? Someone needs to do clerk.
Yes, I guess I do.
Sure. After
Do and stuff.
motion to go into close,
I so move.
Craig?
We need the interim clerk.
So we're saying, yeah.
Very good to do it?
Yep.
Oh, this one, sorry. It's got two of them.
I'll second it. Roll call?
Okay, Arlen,
Yes.
Christine,
Yes,
Tom,
Yes.
I'm a yes, and Ann is absent.
Well, we're in closed session.
Where are we going?
Across the hall.
Okay.
Good? All right.
All right. The board is back out of closed session and open session, and we'll continue with the meeting. The next thing is the consent agenda items. Minutes of the April 1st school board special meeting, the April 5th school board meeting, the April 9th school board special meeting, and the April 14th school board special meeting. Some general fund vouchers and purchasing card transactions, and professional staffing recommendations. And administrator recommendations. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Yeah, I found my-
I'll second.
All right. Craig? And any questions or comments? Hearing none, motion from Craig, second from Christine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes by majority. And so next is the student council report. Do we have a student council report?
I think, yeah, I saw Will and Lizzie. There, yeah.
I guess I can go first. I was just going to give a brief update on the cabaret event that I had spoken about at an earlier meeting. It was a little bit ago. We haven't had a meeting.
Can you get any more volume out of that, Angie? Got it?
I can speak a little louder. Lizzie, do you want to maybe take over for a second?
Nope.
You're good.
We're
We're
good.
good.
We're good.
We're
It was our
good.
TV.
Am I speaking well?
Oh, we lost Bill.
I'm not sure where he went. Okay, I guess I'll give my update. So I'm giving an update just on generally what's happening in the school. So right now, a big chunk of the student body is back in person. And we've still been doing a pretty good job of staying social distance. We have the short passing period, so there's not really lingering in the hallways or anything. So overall, that's going well. Classes are starting to feel a little bit more normal. So we've been able to do some more like normal group work activities and discussions. And we found creative ways to kind of implement some of the things the Zoom students are doing. So a lot of times we'll still join a Zoom in a class. And then we can still do breakout rooms with the people who are virtual, but still be in the class communicating. And not just in school, but also out of school, things are going back to normal. So sports are back in session, fall and spring. So as you might know, volleyball team went to state this year, and currently our soccer team is undefeated. Our football team is the opposite, but we wish them luck on Friday. We wish them luck on Friday in the homecoming game. And because we have that homecoming game on Friday, we kind of created a little spirit week, which normally happens in the fall, but we're doing it right now. So keep an eye out for some people dressed up for our dress up days this week. Also, juniors and seniors are getting excited for the outdoor prom in May. So that's something to look forward to. And seniors actually get to take a socially distanced class photo on the football field and are also getting excited for graduation. So a lot is happening right now and things are really starting to feel a little bit more normal. So things are going well.
Just to add on to that, as I was sort of saying before, I was going to talk a little bit about that cabaret event I had spoken about at a previous meeting. It's been a little bit since then. We just haven't had a good board meeting that lined up well with events, but we successfully filmed all of the submissions, and I believe they're being edited right now. Those will be available for public viewing starting in 10 days on the 29th, 30th, and then May 1st is when I believe they release. It was, the process I felt was really safe, and it was a good way to accomplish something in a limited capacity. Lizzie was also there, but
Yeah, I
it
stayed
went well.
and managed it, so I agree. Clear masks were a little bit of a pain, but we made them work.
Yes, and we did different groups at different times. There were never more than like 6 or 7 people there, and it was very spread out and everything. So all of our hard work hopefully paid off.
Very good. Any questions or comments?
Well, I look forward to seeing all of the submissions. That'll be really fun. And I also want to send a thank you to the students who are including the students who are on Zoom and virtual right now. It sounds like they're doing a really nice job of making sure that their peers feel included. And I just want to say thanks to all of you for doing that.
Is there any detail available out there regarding prom? You know,
Can you repeat that? The sound is kind of bad.
I'm just wondering about prom. Are there any details available, you know, dates, places, how, plans, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so basically, we're decorating the football field. I want to say it's May 8th, but do not quote me on that date. And we are having people basically show up for, I think it's an hour and a half or something. And we're gonna do a normal prom ceremony and do some choreographed dances where we're all like spread out. So that way there's less congregating in groups, and overall just having the experience and dressing up is what is the big part of the night. So that's what we're excited about.
That sounds great.
All right, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next is district administrator report, administration report.
Public comment. I think we have some public
Oh,
comments.
public
there.
comment, my mistake.
Mr. President, I have public comments. First is from Mr. Tom Mooney in support of teachers and support staff. Teachers and support staff in the McFarland School District have earned our respect, appreciation, and acknowledgement for all they have accomplished and will continue to do so in supporting our students during these exceptional times. Not only have our students experienced the impact of the pandemic over the last year, they now have been subjected to the animosity that was on display during some of the recent school board meetings and elections. It's time to collectively refocus on the teachers and support staff to determine how all members of the community can most effectively recognize and support our educators for their passion, vision, and applied knowledge to assure all students experience success in their educational journey as students strive to reach their potential. Our teachers and support staff are second to none and deserve our utmost respect, gratitude, and encouragement. Thank you, teachers and support staff in the McFarland School District. You are the best. Tom Mooney in McFarland. The next public comments are all in support of in-person instruction for the 21-22 school year. The first is from John Gazer, PhD, Exchange Street, McFarland. Good day. I support a return to full 5-day per week school for the 21-22 school year. Kind regards, John Gazer, PhD. The next is from Carolyn and Mike Schmidt on Ocala in McFarland. We write in support of full-day in-person school for all children in this district for the 2021-2022 school year. The next is from Tom and Jane Sandine, County Road AB in McFarland. We support the return to full-time, 5-day-a-week school schedule for the fall 2021. The current 14 hours per week of schooling in the high school is grossly insufficient. McFarland is lagging behind other school districts in offering an acceptable education. Verona, Wanakee, and Sun Prairie already have demonstrated that they can offer 4 or 5 days of full-day in-person schooling for this school year. McFarland parents and students deserve a board commitment now to return to full-time in-person in the fall. Thank you, Tom and Jane Sandine. The next is from Jenny and Matt Morris on Saunders Court in McFarland. We support a return to full-time, 5-day per week school in the fall with the 21-22 school year. The final one is from Amy Krull, Ocala and McFarland. I am support of a return to full-time, 5-day per week school in the fall with the 21-22 school year. We need to take serious the consequences of Zoom hybrid school, the consequences Zoom hybrid school has on our students, particularly our high school students. It has been reported today that a Cottage Grove student took his life. Please fight for our kids to get back in school full-time. Those are the public comments that I have.
Then I would like to.
Make appearance by speaking to the board.
Experience. If anyone would like to make a public appearance by speaking to the board, please utilize the Q&A portion found at the bottom of your Zoom window. In the Q&A, we ask that you type your name, address, subject of interest, and whether you have discussed this item prior to the meeting. After submitting that information, I will transfer you over to speak to the board. I do not show anyone that is registering through the Q&A.
All right,
Okay.
then we'll continue. Next is district administration report.
Thank you, Arlen. I will handle that this evening. Update on planning for 21-22 school year. During the December 14th, 2020 school board meeting, the school calendar for the upcoming 21-22 school year was approved by the school board. The school calendar contains a start date of September 1 and a last day of school on June 3rd, 2022. This information was posted on our website and sent out to families in December, and to our staff had worked on that calendar. Based on this calendar, we are instructing administration in our schools to plan for full schedule, 5-day week for all students K-12 for the 21-22 school year, i.e. like a normal year. Obviously, we have to be responsive to the public health situation and any updated guidance from state, county, or other jurisdictions that might have control over us, but our intention is to begin September 1st with a full schedule for next school year. That would be the status update for 21-22.
Okay.
The next topic is future school board meeting dates. We have two coming up, May 3rd and May 17th. Those are regularly scheduled board meetings. I would like to have feedback, if I could, about time of that meeting. As we've started to experience, the things are getting back to normal because the Beltline has traffic jams, so COVID must be done. So do you believe we should be moving back to 7 p.m. meetings?
It doesn't matter a bit to me. I'm in a situation where I have flexibility that others maybe don't, so any time will work for me.
5:30 is hard for me because I'm on 10-hour days now, so I don't get done until 4:30.
Christine?
It doesn't matter what time we start.
Would anybody like to maybe
I would ask,
invite?
I was just going to invite the new board, soon-to-be new board members to gauge their preference.
I would prefer to start a little bit later because I typically see patients up until 5:15, so.
Okay.
I can be very flexible, so whatever's works for everyone is fine with me.
Historically, it's been 7 o'clock,
I mean,
up until the
even
last year.
6 or 6:30 would be
Last
fine.
summer, we went,
Sure.
yeah.
One thing I would suggest, and I know we typically have all of our administrators at the meetings. That's always, some of the administrators, I mean, it's nice to have them if there's something on the agenda for them specifically that we might have questions about, but not going to be on the board, but I would suggest maybe looking at whether all administrators always need to attend.
You also might want to be flexible by using technology if possible as well.
Okay.
How do they like that?
I think they do enjoy having flexibility of either being here if they have a topic or the ability to use technology, and if there's a question that all of a sudden comes up that has to be, but certainly we try to make sure that our board meetings are sticking to the topics.
I've got no problem with that.
So typically, if we're in a normal year, we've generally had 7 p.m. meetings, but if we do have a closed session, we try to move those into, or like a work session prior to a board meeting, sometimes we'll move those into like a 6 o'clock or 6:30 slot so that you're not piling that on at sometimes 9, 10 o'clock at night if we were to ever have to go that long. So I think we'll plan on, and we'll work with Arlen on setting up the next 2 meetings to be 7 p.m.
That's it for your administration report?
That is it for the administration
So we're going
report.
to roll right into the business manager.
All right, I'll go into some normalcy of business manager report. This evening you have an action item, and I'll pass these around. It'll be just a little easier. Typically at this time of year, we do an amount of budget changes, changing things to reflect grants. Some of the stuff coming forward in the month of May. We'll do a few more budget changes. These budget changes, which then are published with to the public after it is presented and voted on. These items, as I've been talking to you, all relate to the changes due to the pandemic. These are $1.5 million worth of expenditures in excess of planned budget for this year. I've now been able to put those onto the books once this is approved so that DPI and other reporting agencies can see where our spending is going for this whole year. So these changes reflect those 2 previous reports in the 2 previous meetings that I've been providing related to our ongoing extra expenses for this school year. And maybe just to kind of go back to that, I can speak. Am I? Yep, I'm on. Good. All right. It just, all of a sudden, I'm like, I wonder if I have a green light on the voice here. So again, we're extra money on technology software, extra money on technology hardware, extra professional development before we even started the school year on interactive technology, additional teaching staff, additional health staff costs, supplies and equipment, additional supplies and equipment for the buildings. For instance, even as simple as having sets of toys for the kids to be on the playground so that they had their own toys so that we could have kids outside. I mean, McFarland School District was a leader in having our youngest children, the K-2, in first. And it was part of that planning that our administrators put together and used unique things to find safe ways to keep that building open all year. Food service, certainly again, on average, we're serving 1,200 students a year. This year, until last week, we were serving about 400. So when you have a full staff and you have 1/3 of the revenues, and we're in that deficit of about 400,000 for this year. That's better than I thought it was gonna be. But we're serving the needs of our community and students. A bit of that is going to be offset by the ESSER grants coming forward. Again, we've talked about that. Just a reminder that the ESSER grant, the first round, was based on Title I. We have very low Title I funding, so that was just south of 50,000. The second ESSER go-around had some changes by the legislative, why am I blanking? Not the Fiscal Bureau, they analyze it. Joint Finance Committee tweaked how the funding would go a bit. So districts in Dane County were basically penalized for not being open with the fact that we will have to report minutes at the end of this year, and some of that funding will reduce and go elsewhere. And then item number 3 that's just recently come out, that one is again going to only be tied to Title I. So in total, we had 50,000 on the first one. We're somewhere between how it shakes out, somewhere between probably 250 to 350 on number 2. And I haven't had a chance to fully look at number 3, but I think it's going to be closer to 145,000. I just noted that all of these budget shifts I provided you is about 1.5 million. So we're still going to be hovering around $1 million deficit. The McFarland School District and the school board's practices the last several years have been very good at making sure that we stick to our budget. We've had some areas that we've been able to make sure that we've been able to have reserves to help us get through, just like when we've had other situations strategically in the last 17, 18 years, we've had some deficits as well. So this evening, you'll, if you will approve these budget changes, then we'll change our budget for reporting purposes.
Any questions for Jeff?
Well done, Jeff. Thank you.
All right. All right. Action items. Action on revised 2020-21 McFarland School District calendar. Administration recommends changing the last day of school, June 4th, 2021, from a half day of instruction to a full day of instruction. This change is recommended as it provides our AM and PM students one more full day together as a class, one more hot lunch at school, and will allow students and families one more day of consistent pickup routine after school instead of having to learn one more bus route or timing procedure this year. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Craig? Christine? Any questions or comments? Hearing none, motion from Craig, second from Christine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Next is action on 2021-22 school board meeting dates. The attached exhibit is a copy of the proposed meeting dates similar to this year, which we are offering for your consideration. At this time, the board members may discuss the meeting times for next year and finalize the meeting dates if appropriate. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Christine?
I'll second.
Ann? Any questions or comments? Hearing none, motion from Christine, second from Ann. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Passes by majority. Next is action on McFarland High School Fall Early College Credit Program request. Administration requests approval of the attached fall semester Early College Credit Program recommendation for the 2020-21-22 school year. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Craig?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ann. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, motion from Craig, second from Ann. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Passes by majority. Next is action on request for graduation waivers under policy 5460, graduation requirements. Administration recommends the board approval of the waiver of the district graduation requirements for the students noted in the attached exhibit, pending successful completion of their currently enrolled courses. Do I have a motion to approve? Thank you, Ann.
I'll second.
Tom. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, motion from Ann, second from Tom. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes by majority. Next is action on 2020-21 budget changes. Administration recommends approval of the attached budget changes for the 2020-21 school year. Motion to approve.
So move.
Craig? Thank you, Ann. Any questions or comments on this? Hearing none, motion from Craig, second from Ann. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes by majority. Next is action on recommended WEVA, Destination Career Academy Inside School of Wisconsin. Are requesting approval of the recommended student transfers back to their residential districts due to lack of engagement. Do I have a motion to approve?
Also move.
Thank you, Ann.
Second.
Craig? Any questions or comments? Hearing none, motion from Ann, second from Craig. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passed by majority. Board comments, anything the board would like to share?
No, I've got,
Sorry, you have to go by what's on the agenda. Sorry, Craig. I'm on the agenda.
what?
So item 10A, board comments.
Oh,
Comments
I
by
see, I
outgoing
see.
board members Tom Allen and Ann Molitor.
10A, I'm sorry, I went to the regular
Excuse me.
comments. I apologize.
Sorry.
That was,
Yeah.
very good, okay.
Okay. And I asked to be on the board comments because I did want to make some comments, which I've written down because I've been on the board for a while, and I just wanted to basically express my gratitude to all the board members that I've been on the boards with throughout the years, including this one, and the teachers and the staff and the administrators, the custodial staff who does a great job and often work in the dead of night making our schools ready for the next day. Of course, our food service and all of the others that contribute to our district. And barring any unforeseen circumstances, this will be my last board meeting. Maybe another one this week, but maybe not. And I began my service to the schools back in 2003 as part of a citizen finance task force that was charged with identifying cuts that could be made to the budget in light of the way the state's budget caps worked. And we were not immune here in McFarland for that. And as part of that, in 2003 and 4, I was one of the leaders of a citizen referendum exploratory committee that then ended up fashioning a series of referendum questions based on substantial community input so that no cuts would be made to our district at that time. I'm happy to report this referendum was successful. Subsequently, I ran for school board, started that process in 2004, and have served on the board now since 2005. In that time, the boards on which I have served have seen huge successes with measurable and meaningful academic achievement, successful academic initiatives, the creation of an orchestra program. We've had some very successful sports teams. We've made some land acquisitions. And we've had a successful building referendum just recently, among other successes. These same boards that I've been on, and including this one, have struggled with things like Act 10, tight budgets, expulsions, tragic student deaths, and most recently an unprecedented and very difficult pandemic. But through it all, I, like every other board member with whom I've served, have been guided by the paramount principle of do what is best for students. Over the years, I found that the implementation of that principle is often a judgment call. Reasonable people can and do disagree, but none of my fellow board members throughout the years has ever had any other focus. No hidden agendas and never single-minded. Thus, while we may have disagreed about the details of how to do what is best for students, we have never wavered from that guiding principle. It is what has made our boards function as they should. In a week, we will have two new board members, and I am confident that they too are guided by that principle that we must always do what's best for students. Our new board members come to this board at a time when there are many different views about what is best for students. Some of these views will be expressed in very intense and passionate words. Of course, they are passionate because the parents in our district love their children. The children are the most important people in their lives. Educating their children is the most important thing to them and to us. And of course, our teachers and all of our school community are passionate about students and learning. So, to this new board, I suggest be ready to receive many views of every stakeholder by remaining thoughtful and committed to doing what is best for students, and be a good public servant. But, with apologies to Teddy Roosevelt, I implore you to remember, it is not the critic that counts, not the person who points out how the board or our schools might have done things better, but who offers no meaningful help or support. Instead, the credit belongs to this board, the teachers, and the whole school family who are actually in the arena. Those whose faces are marred by anxiety and exhaustion, and yet who strive valiantly, who still spend themselves in a worthy cause, and who will know in the end the triumph of high achievement and doing what is best for students. Thanks.
Nice job.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, unlike Tom, I do not have prepared remarks. One of the reasons I didn't run again is because I'm very, very busy with other things. So I didn't write anything down. I do want to echo some of the comments that Tom made. It's really been a joy to work, with the board and the teachers, the administrators, custodians. Everybody here has just really been phenomenal. When I started on the board, I had one kid in high school, one in middle school, one at Wabisa. I had just been on the building council over at Conrad Elvium. So I was, tied into each of the schools, and I, had vested interest in making sure that, all kids, including mine, got a great education, and I really believe that they have. I don't think they could have gotten any better education anywhere else. One thing that I would consider unfinished business is my desire to see the board really work on increasing the reading proficiency of all the kids in our district, because while we do well, we can do better. I so strongly believe in education as far as opening doors and opportunities. And I think, our district does a great job with that, with apprenticeships and work opportunities for kids that might not be interested in going onto post-secondary education. That's just phenomenal. Let's see, what else here? I don't know, Tom and I are kind of criers, so I guess it's kind of difficult here. It's been a great ride.
Thank you, Ann.
I'd like to thank you both. I remember Tom was out when we were out on that referendum, going all around seeing community members, and that's when I first got to meet Tom. And it's been a joy having both you on the board. Both you are quite, have a lot of assets. You're very, very sharp. You both are attorneys, but you know, you're real. You're just, no.
We won't hold that against
I'm
you.
just going to say that you're just real people. Sometimes people get intimidated by attorneys. But, you know, our attorneys can kind of run things. You guys are team members, and the decisions are all made. The discussions, and we've had easy discussions and we've had hard ones. And we worked through a lot of things. But you guys really brought your A game when the board needed it the most. And you know, I really appreciate you guys being on the board. We're very fortunate. McFarland's had some really, really good board members, and we always have worked together. And the board has looked at what's best for kids as a general theme. And that kind of makes us part of the school family. And that's what we are. We're an extension of the school family. But I appreciate everything that you guys done. I got you a little cake tonight. And I didn't know what to put on for Tom and Ann. But I got a Superman and I got a Wonder Woman. So that's what I have on the cake. I think it's quite fitting for the roles, because you guys are movers and shakers and you make this thing go. You're very good people. And thank you very much for everything you guys have done. Thank you.
I'd just like to add also that briefly, because I've become quite the emotional mess in my later years here as well, but I know I always said to both Ann and Tom over the years that I think they thought I was joking, but I never really was. Every time
That's what they all say.
every time I've had an interaction with Tom or Ann over the years,
Yeah,
I've come away smarter.
yeah.
And I've told them that for years. I don't know whether they believe me or not, but it's the truth. I appreciate every minute that I've got to spend with you, and I'll consider you friends.
I want to echo ditto to both of you, and I hope you knew this as we were going along, how much I've appreciated being reached out, as I have multiple times to, and just to learn so much from both of you. So thank you so much, and I know that the service goes very unthanked, I'm not thanked. So thank you both. Thank you so much.
I'll break a rule. On behalf of the administrative team and all of the staff of the McFarland School District,
Oh, very good. So next is the oath of office.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Pull it together, Ann. Pull it together.
All right, at this time, I would like Bruce and Kate to, I guess, come forward here.
Oh, yeah. It's different.
Okay, then I will just have you repeat the oath of office after me. I state your name. I, Kate Green. Having been elected or appointed to the office of the Board of Education. Elected or appointed to the office of the Board of Education of the School District of McFarland. Affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of said office
of said office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God. All right, congratulations.
Welcome. Both of you, welcome.
So it is not a requirement that you get teary-eyed. But I know you two are very passionate about the schools and about the school district. And that's really important, I think, for
That's
our
key.
district and for our boards and for our staff and administration. So I think you find this role very rewarding, challenging, hopefully. And I think you guys will do great for our district.
Without a doubt.
Congratulations to both of you. Looking really
Thank you.
forward to working with you both.
Both of you.
And if I could just get each of you to sign your respective oaths of office so they can be recorded. That's Kate. All right, thank you. You guys are officially on the hook on the 26th of this month, so.
So, do we go into closed session right away?
Yep.
All right.
Well, let's see.
So motion to go into closed session.
So move.
Craig.
I'll second.
Christine.
All right.
Roll call?
Yep, I gotta see what time it is. All right, Arlen,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
myself, yes. Christine?
Yes.
And Tom?
Yes.
Okay. All right,
That motion includes invited guests?
it does.
Yes.
Yes. You're invited to attend.
And can I ask if the 26th, is there then a board meeting?
No.
No.
It's just
No,
when
that's
our
just,
term actually
that's,
begins.
yep, that's the
That's correct.
official date. It's the fourth Tuesday in April, which happens to be 26th this year, so.
Or notice for the closed meeting in lacrosse.
Okay.
Or we wait for